Hi, I'm the Tabletop teacher, and I'm going to show you three things in this video. How to use the running shot power, then I'll show you a couple of interesting ways to maximize the effects of running shot, and finally, I'll share some ideas on how to play against characters using this power. Running shot is a standard speed power that's identified by a gray background on the speed value. Running shot allows a character to move and attack in the same turn, but at half the speed. In Heroclix, since you always round up, this means a character that normally has a speed of 7 can move up to 4 squares before being given a ranged combat action. Keep in mind that your opponent cannot be adjacent in order to be able to give your character a ranged combat action. There needs to be at least 1 square between the two characters. There are exceptions to this, but in your first few games, you might want to keep things simple and just leave it at that. You can maximize the effects of running shot in several ways. Having high range and speed values is really helpful in pulling off a running shot that can keep your character away from charging opponents. Some characters like Starhawk here from the Guardians of the Galaxy set can use running shot to hit characters that are 14 squares away from their initial position. It's usually not too hard to find a character that has both running shot and penetrating psychic blast on their first 1 or 2 clicks. It's really useful to have at least one such character in the first rounds of the game. This way, you make sure you can hurt opponents that have damage reducing powers, like invulnerability. You can take that combo a notch higher by ending your character's movements so he or she is adjacent to characters using enhancement. This power adds 1 click of damage to a friendly adjacent character's ranged combat attack. Let's say you moved these 3 central city police officers before in your turn, and Green Arrow ends the movement part of his running shot adjacent to all of them. If he hits his target, his arrow will deal 5 clicks of penetrating damage. That's his printed damage of 2 plus 3 thanks to the adjacent characters with enhancement. Ow. There are other possible combinations, of course. Here are a few. Running shot and energy explosion. Running shot and pulse wave. Running shot and incapacitate. Note, you cannot combine running shot with ranged combat expert, since both of these powers require you to give a power action to your character. Rocket Raccoon has both of these powers on the same click. You can give Rocket a power action, and after moving, you can give him a ranged combat action as a free action, but not another power action, which is what ranged combat expert requires. Characters that can make a running shot need room to run. They cannot make a running shot if they're stuck in close combat with an opposing character. They can try and break away from that fight, but that's a gamble. If they miss the breakaway roll, they cannot move and lose the attack part of running shot as well. An adjacent character with plasticity, like Venom from the Superior Foes of Spider-Man set, is quite the problem for characters that want to make a running shot because they need to roll a 6 to break away from them. A character with stealth on every click could essentially avoid being targeted by ranged combat attacks altogether for the whole game. Take Poison Ivy here from the World's Finest set. If she keeps lines of fire to her hindered by making sure she's in a square of hindering terrain or behind a smoke cloud, for example, only adjacent characters will be able to target her. Running shot is therefore useless against her. Do you have any special strategies using or countering running shot? Do you have a favorite running shot character? Make sure to share them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this quick overview of running shot. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Tabletop Teacher. And of course, thanks for playing with me.